lunchtime lesson. We're doing a pronunciation focus today, and we are going to be talking about a particular sound which is really important in the English language. So the sound we are talking about today is the schwa. So who has heard of the schwa before? Just put a thumbs up in the box if you know. Okay, so yeah, most of us have heard about the schwa. Brilliant. So the schwa, if you're not sure what it is, it is the most common vowel sound in the English language, right? Which obviously means it's really important. And it's what we call a neutral vowel. So a neutral vowel means that your mouth isn't making any round shapes with your lips, your jaw isn't moving, your tongue isn't moving, okay? So you can always think about the schwa being not stressed, okay? Like it's super cool and relaxed, yeah? And it's also used on unstressed syllables. And this is a really important aspect about the schwa. So the schwa is what we call a weak vowel. To give you an example of a strong vowel, those are the sounds that you get, for example, in Italian and in Spanish. Yeah, the a, e, I, o, u sounds. Yeah, the weak vowels are the ones more like and I and a that we have a lot of in English. And being able to use and hear the schwa is really key to being able to pronounce and understand English well. Okay, so it's a super important sound. The schwa is also really important to the rhythm of English, being able to understand that rhythm and also being able to reproduce that rhythm. And we're going to talk about what this is called sentence stress, right? Well, we're going to be talking about that in a different session. Today, we're going to focus on individual word level relating to the schwa. So what we would call word stress, yeah? How it affects individual words rather than thinking about the full sentence. So if we want to form the schwa, like I said before, it's this totally neutral vowel. So you see that your lips aren't doing anything. Your teeth, this is your tongue. Your teeth is not near your tongue or anywhere like that. It's right in the middle, okay? And your jaw here isn't open or closed. It's just relaxed, yeah? So you shouldn't be making any strange shapes. A way to think about it is if you say the sound right? And you can put your hands on your face for this, like that, okay? And if you say you'll feel how things start to move, right? How your jaw's opening, how your tongue's going back. But if I totally relax that, to an you should feel how everything just closes down and it's in a neutral position. So other ways that you can think of how to make this sound the schwa, okay, the sound. Imagine that I ask you a really difficult question, right? And you're thinking of the answer and you go, like, what's the first thing you're going to do when restrictions are lifted? Because there's so many things that you want to do, you don't know which one to choose. Okay, another way to think about it is imagine you have to smell something really disgusting, right? And you would go, okay, so, yeah. Like milk that's been left outside for 4 days in the sun and you smell it, right? So, And then finally, another way you can think about it is channel your inner Homer Simpson. So think about the sound that Homer makes when he looks at a donut, okay? So, you know, when he looks at donuts, he goes, okay? That's also the sound that we're making with the schwa, right? So 3 ways that you can think about how to produce your schwa. And also this idea of neutrality, okay? It's like the Switzerland of vowel sounds, yeah? It's not doing anything. So, when we're thinking about the schwa in relation to word stress, okay, and word stress is it's really important to being able to both pronounce correctly, but also understand correctly. We need to think about how many syllables there are in a word. All right, sorry, how many syllables there are in a word and where the main stress of that syllable is, okay? So if I take this word here, comfortable, and I think of how many syllables I've got in that word, right? Comfortable, which is 3, okay? And then I'm going to think about where the main stress is in that word. Is it comfortable, 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 okay? So my stress is on the first one, right? That's my main stress. And here are my other ones. So these sounds are the ones where we usually have the schwa, okay? Comfortable, comfortable. Let's take this other example here with literature, okay? So if I say this again, literature, we've got 3 syllables, yeah? The main stress is on the first, okay? Literature. And there we've got our schwas, literature, yeah? Take a minute, guys, and think about the other words I've put there, right? Say them out loud. Think about how many syllables they have and think about where the main stress of those syllables are. So let's have a look at the answers. So the first one here, we should have had 3 syllables as well, vegetable. And our stress on the first syllable, vegetable, yeah? Over here, we've got photograph, another 3, photograph. Here we've got television, 4 syllables. Carrot, 2. Oh, sorry. Let me come back to that. Developing, okay. Here we've got 2, mountain, and finally, mobile, okay. Now, I want you now to think of the unstressed syllables. Which ones do you think is the schwa, right? So not every unstressed syllable is a schwa, but it very commonly is. So I'll pronounce those again. See if you can identify where the schwa is. Comfortable, literature, vegetable, photograph, television, carrot, developing, mountain, mobile. Okay, so let's have a look at where we've got schwas here. So in my first one here, okay, so comfortable. So if I say that slowly, comfortable, right? Comfortable, that would be my schwa sound here. Okay. Literature. Okay, so I have a literature sound there. Vegetable. Okay, so vegetable. Photograph. Television. You've got 3 schwas. Carrot. Developing. And these 2 don't actually have a schwa. Okay, so this one here, mountain, it has a sound which is really similar to a schwa, which is the I sound. So I'm going to try and draw this, guys, with my mouse. Oh, look how good that came out. That came out quite well. All right, so here we have a mountain sound. It is very similar to the schwa, though, okay? But this one over here doesn't actually have a schwa. This has got another strong vowel sound, mobile. Yeah. So not every unstressed syllable is a schwa, but if we look at those examples, it's super common, and it very often is. So what happens if we don't use it? Yeah. Think about what happens when we don't use a schwa. Let's take that word carrot, because I always use this example. It's a good one. If I don't make an in the second syllable and I make an o, the strong vowel, and I say carrot, what's happened? Carrot, correct pronunciation. carrot, if I use the strong vowel. Yeah. Carrot, carrot. Do you hear how the stress has changed if I use the strong vowel? Yeah. Carrot, carrot. I've moved it. It would work with all of these examples. Literature, literature, literature. Photograph, photograph. Television, television. Developing, developing. Okay. If you don't use the schwa when it's on the unstressed syllable, and if you use a strong vowel sound, what happens is that you change the stress pattern of that word. And word stress and sentence stress is so integral to how we speak in English that if you change the stress of the word, no one will understand you. Okay. And this is the experience that I'm sure everybody has had, where you are saying a word that you know is correct in English, but people don't understand you. It's an incredibly frustrating experience. Yeah. Most times when that happens, it's because you're not applying the schwa, you're using a strong vowel, and you've changed the stress of the word. Okay. So this is why one of the reasons that word stress is so important, and that we really need to work with this sound. Okay, now the other thing to think about with the schwa is, I know it can be quite hard to know when we should be using a schwa, when a word is stressed, when it's unstressed, but there are some pronunciation patterns we can use to help us. For example, suffixes in English are never stressed. Yeah, it follows a different pattern. From example, in Spanish or Italian, where you guys have a very fixed rhythm of how you pronounce words, of where the stress will lie, and in your languages, in those languages, the stress is usually placed on a suffix. In English, it's not. Okay, so we very often use the schwa when we're pronouncing a suffix. And this is a nice pronunciation pattern that can help you make sure that you're properly pronouncing words. So if you just take a look at these examples, these word groups, I've put 3 examples that all share the same suffix. And just say them to yourself and think about how you pronounce that suffix in each example. So if I take the first one, I'd say literature, furniture, and future. So all of these have got this sound, cher. Yeah? Literature, furniture, future. Okay. Have a look at the others. Take a minute, pronounce them. Make sure you say it out loud, because remember, sounds can be different in your head. So speak out loud and try pronouncing the groups of words and see if you can think about how we would correctly pronounce each of these suffixes. Right, so let me pronounce them for you. So we have teacher, farmer, learner. So all of these sounds are okay? So we should not be saying an air. It's not teacher, teacher, farmer, learner. These ones here, people very often make a mistake with both of these suffixes because you think of the adjective, right? So the adjective less, L-E-S-S, if I use that word by itself, does have a strong vowel sound, an e, but when I'm using it as a suffix, it's an okay? So I have careless, mindless, helpless, not careless, mindless, helpless. Careless, mindless, helpless. And the same with this suffix here. If it's the adjective, F-U-L-L, we would use a strong vowel sound like ooh, fool. But because it's a suffix, we're saying full, okay? So helpful, careful, beautiful, okay? These ones here, it's the same, right? National, educational, emotional. So even though we have the letter A and here we have the letter U, the sound we're producing is the same, not national, national. And then these ones here, guys, would become an uri, right? So it's not nursery, it's nursery, primary, secondary. And then our last one, this isn't actually the schwa. This is the example we saw before, yeah? This sound here, the I, but it is very similar to the schwa, right? I wouldn't worry too much about that difference. What is more important is that you're producing a weak sound, okay? So don't get too caught up on whether it's an I or an Just make sure that you are not saying comfortable or vegetable or laughable. Yeah. So all of these should be able. Comfortable, vegetable, laughable. Okay. Another little useful pattern that we can have in pronunciation with the schwa is that very often when we speak quickly, if a word has a schwa, we omit it. We take a syllable away. So I've got another list of words for you here, okay? So I'd like you to think about where is the schwa in these words. So where is the schwa in nursery? Where is the schwa in primary? Where is the schwa in secondary? We just did these, so you should be confident about those. Where's the sound, where's the schwa, sorry, in library? Interesting. Vegetable. Okay. And literature. Right? So that's how I would pronounce these words slowly. Yeah? So our schwas, nursery, primary, secondary, you've got two there. Library, interesting, vegetable, literature. Okay? So when I'm speaking quickly, what I will usually do, because it's a weak vowel sound anyway, and if you look at them, they're all followed, they all come with a vowel sound before them, right? So we have a vowel sound here, 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 right? So all of them have a vowel sound beforehand. Because we already have a vowel sound, I can take away that extra vowel because then we follow it with another vowel sound, okay? So when I say these quickly, it'll sound like this. Nursery, primary, secondary, library, interesting, vegetable, literature, okay? And that's a much more useful pronunciation for you to work with because it means that you are going to understand people much better. So remember, pronunciation is not only to develop your speaking, pronunciation is to develop your listening. If you can produce a sound, you can hear a sound, okay? And the more that you're able to produce this kind of speech, the better you're going to understand people when they're talking to you quickly and fluently. How can you know if a word has a schwa? And how can you know where the word stress is? Because that's really hard if you've never seen the word before. Luckily though, now we have, all these wonderful dictionaries, yeah? So if you look at, this is the Longman dictionary, but you can do it with like basically any decent online dictionary will do this for you now. You want to look at the phonemics, okay? So I'm just going to go to the web page so you can share it a little bit, see a bit bigger. Oh, that's a bit too big maybe. There we go. So if you look here, guys, right, that's our phonemic transcription. So what you'll find on the Longman is that they will tell you how many syllables there are, yeah? So the dot will separate it, photograph. And if you look at the phonemic transcription, what you're looking for is this, yeah? So that's an apostrophe. And that apostrophe will show you where the main stress of a word is. So because the apostrophe is here, I know that that is the main stress of this word. You'll also be able to see where your schwa is, if you can recognize the symbols. So I know that that sound, pho-t, is where I want to pronounce with a schwa. Okay? You can also listen, of course, right?
Photograph.
And that will also help you with a clue. If you go to the word reference, I don't know if I've shown you guys this before. So the word reference dictionary. The cool thing about this one is that you can actually listen to it in different languages. Sorry, not consent, photograph. So you can choose what to hear in. So let's do Scottish. Okay. But you can also listen to Irish.
Photograph.
Or my personal favorite, Jamaican.
Photograph.
So when you get to go on holiday again after this horrible pandemic to Jamaica on a tropical island, you can check the pronunciation. Okay, we're going to finish with a little challenge. So what I've got here, guys, is a word maze, right? We're going to think about how we can move across these stones, okay? So if I look at these ones here, I need to think which word has the stress on the first syllable, yeah? So correct, that's the second. Regret, that's the second. Answer, what was that? First or second? That's the first. Belong is the second. Invent is the second. So I'm going to start to answer. Okay. So what I need to do is cross my bridge over here. Yeah. Cross my bridge, cross my river. And I can move this way. I can move up. I can move horizontally, and I can move across. And I can also jump one stone. Okay. So if I start to answer, I now need to work out where I go next. So if I pronounce them, receive, provide, admit, compare, escape. So there's all of these have got them on the second syllable. So I can't use any of these. But let's see if I can jump to the next level. Okay. Allow, enter, believe, copy, cancel. Good. So enter, but I can't jump that way. Believe didn't work. Copy does, but I can't jump that way. But what about this one? Cancel. Yeah. So I can go from answer and jump over to cancel. Okay. Right. So take a minute, guys, and see if you can get to the other end of the river. Okay. It's a really great one to think about your word stress and also to think about how you're going to pronounce the schwa as well. So practice makes perfect. Make sure that you keep working with it as much as possible. Okay? You will be able to produce that sound, I promise you, even if you're finding it challenging at the moment. But we will get there.